Hi, Pastor Rich here with you on this Saturday between Good Friday and Easter Sunday. And Aaron and I were discussing the significance of this day a little bit earlier in the day as we took a walk through the woods at Colton Point State Park. And one of the things we got to pondering is imagine what it was like to be Jesus' first disciples, that first Good Friday, when Jesus had died, and when their hopes in Jesus being the saving one sent from God had died when he was placed in the tomb. Now, we have the benefit of knowing how the story of the death and resurrection of Jesus ends. We have the foresight right now to know that there's going to be an Easter Sunday celebration tomorrow. We're going to celebrate that Jesus was raised from the dead tomorrow. But I think there's something to be said about allowing this time of rest, this time of waiting, when after Jesus died, before Jesus rose, when Jesus was in the tomb, when it was such a time of anxiety and uncertainty for Jesus' first disciples. And I think that there are a lot of variables, things in the world that are happening in our lives right now that might be causing us to have some worry, some anxiety, some stress about, sensing the promise of good things to come, and yet kind of feeling like we're in this waiting period, like Jesus' first disciples were on that day before, that they were hearts were flooded with a hope beyond all hope. Now, as we walked through the woods, I look around, but I also look down, and a couple of the things I noticed, there's promises of new life that is yet to come. One of the things is these fiddleheads, the fiddleheads from ferns just beginning to emerge with new life for the springtime. And in addition to that, trillium. Look at this beautiful trillium plant, just almost ready to open up into a beautiful blooming flower. And so while we were taking a walk along the woods, noticing these signs of springtime, promises of new life that is yet to bloom, yet to emerge from the forest floor, we took a moment to pause and to just rest for a moment, and we prayed the Lord's Prayer together. You know how it goes. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen. And we got up from the rock that we were sitting on a few minutes later and took maybe 30 steps down the trail, and we happened upon a huge outcropping of wintergreen. This is a wintergreen plant, and they were just loaded with berries, wintergreen berries, and so knowing how good and tasty they were, we made sure to leave some for the wildlife, but we ate some berries. You better believe we ate some berries. And we noted that we had just prayed in the Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. That's to say, give us this day our daily sustenance. And there was, for both of us, I think there was a real profound sense of God's blessing in that moment. Now, I don't think that God put those berries in our path just for us, but I think that since we were in that moment and eating those berries, the Spirit of God brought forth in me this profound sense of, yes, this is that nature's bounty is God's blessing, not only for me and for Aaron, but for the entire forest community. So there was that sense of blessing, and so even while we wait in what may feel like an anxious time, if we make a connection between this period of waiting in the life of Jesus and his disciples, and the time of waiting that we are currently in, with our community shutdowns, everybody staying at home, and I know that I'm not the only one eagerly anticipating the day things will go back to normal. Um, there is as much promise in that God has good things to come for our community, and that as there is that these fiddleheads will become beautiful ferns. That this trillium will bring forth a beautiful flower. There are good things to come, and let us as we take a moment to rest in the time of waiting, anticipating the good things yet to come, the resurrection life that is yet to be celebrated. I just pray for God's blessing upon all of us today, and I hope that if you find time to take a walk outside around your yard, your house, maybe a patch of the woods near where you live, look for those signs of the promise of new life that is yet to come, even while we wait.